Hey, you guys, and welcome back to another edition of Unpopular Opinion with me, Krystal Ketcham. So, today I will be talking to my sister, Nyasia Ketcham, who's also a photographer based in New York, and we'll be discussing Megan Thee Stallion's new Harper Bazaar cover.
As a photographer, what did you think of Megan Thee Stallion's new Harper Bazaar cover?
Honestly, I felt like it could have been better. She could have been shown in a better light. Per se, like technical, like parts of the photography of the photos, I feel like were great, but I feel like some of the pictures, she didn't look like she was happy, and I feel like when pictures are done like that or show black women in that sort of light, it doesn't help with the stereotypes that we have against us as being like angry.
Now, when I read up more about the cover, I read it was for like a legacy issue or something like that, right? So with that being said, I felt like if that was the overall theme or, the basis, I feel like those pictures could have been better. Like, those pictures to me do not scream legacy or that it girl. Like, don't get me wrong, all of them weren't bad, right? But on the screen, I'll show people what I'm talking about. It's these two photos in particular. It's the black and white photos, the one where she's like posing like really awkwardly, and the other one where I think she's sitting on the floor. Like, to me, those photos did not scream the it girl or Megan Thee Stallion's legacy. And I did enjoy her having natural makeup because I thought that was beautiful. I think black women need to see more black women, in natural face, because nobody wakes up in glam every day. I thought that was good, right? But still, with that being said, even with the natural look, they just missed the mark.
I feel the same way too, and I feel like like there's a certain treatment when it comes to like certain people or her as a rapper. Like, I felt like there was no like effort given into showing what her legacy would be in the photos because of what she talks about and how she perceives herself as a rapper. Because they're having covers of Rihanna in Harper's magazine, and they came out beautifully, for its purpose. And I believe Beyonce too. But when it came to Megan, it was just like, all right, we're just gonna throw her in the studio, take these pictures, not even care of how she's actually looking at the camera or anything.
And then, of course, I don't want to compare her right now because Megan Thee Stallion is doing her thing. But if I am going to, let's think about Nicki Minaj was the first rapper to cover Harper's Bazaar, and then it was Cardi B. Their covers look absolutely amazing. And, yes, they are more glammed up than she is, but it's not even about the glam. It's about the aesthetics of the picture. Like, the fashion was on point. With Cardi B, her locations were exotic. They were nice looking. With, Nikki, it was just in the studio, but the colors pop. Like, all of it worked together to really make you look good. With Megan Thee Stallion, I didn't feel that way.
Yeah, I didn't feel that way either. I feel like her wardrobe, like the choices weren't like too colorful. They were neutral, and I feel like they could have been more colorful, or they could have added more elements to the studio shoot with better lighting. But I just feel like, like that kind of fell, I wouldn't say it fell particularly just on the photographer because it's a team effort, So, whoever was her wardrobe stylist, I know that she used like, a whole bunch of different types of brands for the shoot, like high-end brands. But I feel like they could have went more into like shaping her into those brands or, choosing better pieces for her.
I'll give it up for makeup and hair. Those look good, right? But like you said, the styling was not there. Like, that yellow piece was beautiful, but it doesn't seem like Megan Thee Stallion. Like, it doesn't seem like hot girl or it girl to me. It didn't scream that. And this is like no diss to the photographer or Megan, but just as black women, we want to see ourselves portrayed in a way it's like, oh my God, that's beautiful or that's amazing. Like, I remember seeing Issa Rae on Essence. I forgot the year or the month of that magazine, but, it was shot in New Orleans. That was an amazing cover.
Right.
Like,
It
her
was.
makeup looked beautiful. She looked beautiful. Like, I went out and got that magazine because of how graceful Issa Rae looked. And I was just like, wow, she looked like such a queen. But seeing Megan on this cover, there's nothing. I like Megan. I think she's talented. But seeing this cover, I don't want to run out and get it.
Yeah, that's how I feel. There's certain things I feel like, or a certain way that we are portrayed as people, I feel like it could be done better. And people have to put an effort or give some expertise before they even try to put us out there. Because, like, I don't want to go based on color or anything, but, as you were explaining with Issa Rae's cover, that was shot by a black photographer. So I feel like she put her perspective on it, or things that she wanted for Issa Rae to be shown versus this person that wasn't of color that particularly, like, photographed Megan. Like, how much effort did he put into researching how we want to be looked at as people who are in front of magazines?
So who do you think they could have gotten to do her shoot?
There's a lot of photographers feel like would have been a better fit. Well, Kill Lemons would have been great. I'm just saying people's at names on Instagram, or even Shink Sway would have been great. Who else? Visuals by K would have been also great. Raven B would have also been great too. Because I've seen some awesome covers or brands that they've shot where our people at least, were shown as how they should have been shown.
And I don't want to make this like a black versus white thing or like who can shoot who, but do you think white photographers are still struggling with that till this day?
I feel like they are, because this is not the first time this has been an issue where we were not shown in the best light, and it came down to, like, who was the photographer? Oh, so now we see who the photographer was. Simone Biles, a couple like a year ago, had a cover for a magazine, and it came down to her having, like, somebody that wasn't of color shot that, and it just was bad. The way she looked, the coloring, it wasn't good. It was like, if we would have had somebody of our color doing it, we would have known how to show her, or what was best fitting for her.
Like I said, I'm not saying all those photos definitely weren't bad, but I think the collective could agree it could have been better, right? And with that being said, I forgot this photographer's name. I think it was Scott something. I feel like having another woman as his consultant on set that day would have helped.
Yes. That would have helped. It would have been amazing if he would have had more people who were like Megan, who could identify as Megan, besides the hair and the makeup person, to help guide him through the shoot. Because even Megan, I feel like she made her own tweaks to the photos before she even, like, posted them.
She did. It was a lot. If you look at what Harper Bazaar posted her Instagram, she definitely brightened hers up a little bit.
Yeah. And, I mean, like, she didn't add, like, a filter. She just tweaked it so it looked brighter, but it's sad that she had to do that. Because the picture before was so bland. It was like, you could have, if you would have blacked and white, the photo wouldn't have made a difference because it looks the same.
Like with Megan's situation, right, and just thinking back to Kamala Harris' situation with Vogue, I'm wondering how involved are these people when it comes to their cover shoots? Like, do you have a say when it comes to the stylist or what you're comfortable with, what you're not comfortable with? Because I really can't see Megan liking all those photos. I'm sorry, I just can't see her liking all them photos.
Yeah, well, with some magazine companies, they may choose a photographer for some of these shoots. So it's not necessarily the artist or the person that they're like photographing that's choosing them. It's the company of the magazine that's choosing them. So like we have to vouch more for people like us to shoot people like us.
And Beyonce did that with Vogue. Her look was really natural, really serene. And remember, she chose that young man to do it. I think it was a young black guy to do her pictures.
Yes.
And they came out good.
Tyler. Yes, Tyler's
yeah.
photos. He did her photos. Yeah. And you have to advocate. And so I mean, like some people don't have it to where they have that type of power to say, well, I'm choosing my photographer versus you're choosing my photographer. But you know, in cases like where Megan had this guy shooting for her, maybe she didn't have to say so, and you know, choosing who should or shouldn't.
I can see that. I can see them be like, well, you should be even grateful you're on the cover. I can see that.
Exactly. That may have been the conversation.
I can see that. But anybody could see Megan's cover compared to their past covers, it's lacking.
Yeah. It's
like,
lacking a lot.
I would have chosen the orange picture over. There was her with the orange background, or the one with her in the yellow dress. I would have chose that one over that cover.
Yeah, I would have chosen. I mean, orange is great. Orange is a great color. I feel like if they would have chosen a brighter orange and like, you know, combine that with better wardrobe, she would have been shown better.
My thing is, I will say it again, not all the photos were bad. But the two that stick out to me is the black and white and just how awkwardly she posed. Now, if they were going with the natural theme, like looking at Megan naturally, cool. But if we're going to do that, why not put her in the natural background? Like, stage some type of rodeo because she's from Texas. Like, I don't know. Like, if we're going to go with this look, like, just go all out. That background, it just wasn't working.
Yeah, I mean, like, as a photographer looking at it, I can say, like, I feel like the photographer hit certain technical parts. You know, the composition of the photo, how exactly she was placed to be shown. But, I mean, like, if you look at the photo, the feel of the photo is what you're left with. And you're not really feeling the photo if she's not shown right. So, yeah.
What would you have done differently?
Me per se, I would have gotten a feel of Megan, and I would have thoroughly went through those photos I took of her, and I would have chosen the ones that made her look like she's strong, or she doesn't look too angry, or even like maybe Megan wasn't having a good day that day. But at least if I'm the photographer, I want to make sure that Megan is feeling nice. Megan is feeling good. So when we take these photos, she's not going to look like she's mad. Or I would even went as far as trying to see what they was going to choose for the wardrobe. Because sometimes you have to really take a step in and look at everything before you start taking pictures. Everything. You have to. But some people don't see it as that. They see it as one thing. Well, this is your job and this is your job. No, I want to see how everything is going to come together, combine together. Because at the end of the day, I'm here to photograph it, but because I'm here to photograph, I want to make sure it's being photographed right.
The right way. Like when I think of black women on covers, I think of Essence magazine. Like, of course, like I said, I love that Issa Rae cover. And then you remember that cover where they had like Sanaa Lathan, Nia Long, and Gabrielle Union? Like those were beautiful covers.
Right.
But
they're beautiful covers.
And most likely shot by black people. Like I'm not saying white people can't shoot black people. If you're struggling, just remember, we want to look a certain way. We want to come off a certain way. Like, this is a high-end magazine. Like, do you really think those photos represent who she is and the brand of the magazine?
Yeah. But the thing is, I don't feel like there is anyone there consulting before they actually, like, release these magazine covers. You know, they don't. If they had somebody to say to them, this person's skin tone looks a bit washed out, or maybe you can, like, lift up the color of it because it's not exactly how it is in real life, they'll be great. But sometimes people don't have anybody to speak up on that because there's not many people like us in those positions to do that.
At this point, I'm wondering, what is it going to take for us to be in those positions?
Yeah, I'm wondering the same thing too, because as a photographer, you don't want to stick to just being on Instagram. And I feel like that's the place where we're most comfortable at as people of, color, because they're not giving us the big opportunities to actually be on the covers of magazines. And I feel like we belong on those places. We need to be there.
True. And I feel like this goes back to what you said earlier about advocating and what Beyonce did on her Vogue, advocating. That we really need to start advocating for each other. Like, I want so-and-so to style me, because she knows my skin tone. She knows what look good on me. I want so-and-so to be my photographer because he knows how to make my figure look a certain way or how to, make me look graceful. That's what we need to start doing.
Yeah, I feel the same way. We have to start advocating for ourselves. We really have to. We have to start advocating for how we're being edited. We have to. Because if we don't, then we're going to get pictures that are not representing us to the fullest. They may look cute, they may look nice, but this is not you. This is not what you want other people to see.
Mhm. And again, just to reiterate, if I had to compare this to Nicki's and then Cardi's with Megan, I feel like they dropped the ball a little bit. They dropped the ball.
They did. They most definitely did. I mean, like, Harper Bazaar, honestly, like, all their magazine covers, it doesn't even have to be, like, these rappers here that you mentioned with Nicki and Cardi. They're always, like, I want to say a little bit over the top, but it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like with Megan, it was plain. It was just there, There was no added elements. But, we live in a time where now it's like there's so much that you can do, and simplicity, is something that we kind of sometimes have no other choice but to now. But, there could have been some things done in a studio shoot to make it feel or look better.
I think color would have been their best friend at this point. Color.
Yeah.
Contrast.
Color. Yes, color. There could have been color. There could have been textures. It could have been different textures.
Megan looks good in purple.
Yeah.
I agree. There could have been a lot.
Yeah.
Well, we don't want this to be too long, so we're going to wrap this up. So do you want to give your final thoughts on her cover, and I'll give my final thoughts?
Honestly, I feel like, the photographer has, hit those technical parts of photography with her photos. However, he needs to just be mindful of how he's giving off the feeling of the photos. And I feel like this is just a reminder for all photographers. Just be mindful of what feeling you're trying to give to the viewer who's viewing your photos when you're taking them and before you post your photos anywhere.
For this to be the legend issue or, really showing, Megan as that hot girl, I don't feel like this was it. I feel like it could have been better.
Again, I want to thank my sister Nyasia for joining me today, and I'll leave her contact information in the description below. She's an amazing photographer, so if you're in New York and you're looking for a photographer, definitely hit her up. Thank you guys for listening. If you like what you hear, hit that like button below, and if you want more, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.